The US and China are at each other's throats again. This time it's about the Chinese balloon that America says was spying on its territory. Now, the way that this has played out has shown us a lot about just how brittle the relationship is between these superpowers. And it could be a dry run for something much bigger in the future. First, let's have a quick review of what happened. When the US announced it had discovered the balloon, it was well over US territory in Montana, where the Americans have many of their nuclear missiles. Now, spying happens all the time, but this looked pretty blatant. China insisted it was just a weather balloon, but it became something the media and politicians could really latch onto. You had hot takes everywhere, and everyone had an opinion about what to do. And there was massive pressure on Joe Biden to take action. He cancelled a trip by his Secretary of State to Beijing, and he ended up having the balloon shot down. The Chinese were angry about that, and Biden's critics were angry too. They said he should have done it much sooner. Now, this time it was just a balloon, but what if next time it's something more serious? Like a scenario that experts worry about, a scenario that could spiral out of control, all the way into direct conflict between the two superpowers. Imagine this. An American spy plane is flying over the South China Sea, and China sends a fighter jet to pursue it. The planes get so close that they collide and crash down into the sea. Now it's not just a balloon that's downed, this time people are killed. Now just imagine how this plays out. Both sides would blame each other, that much is absolutely for certain. They would dispute why it happened. They'd even dispute basic facts like where it happened. They'd dispute who had any right to be there. Media and politics would go into a frenzy. There would be massive pressure on both sides to respond in a way that looks tough. Now, we just saw the hot takes over the balloon. Imagine what they would be like in a situation like this when people had died. In a case like this, brinkmanship and grandstanding could lead to a very dangerous place. And if you're thinking, well, that may just never happen, well, just a few weeks ago, it very nearly did. A Chinese fighter and a US spy plane, according to the Americans, came within 6 meters of each other over the South China Sea just in December. Okay, so back to reality. We can be glad that that hasn't happened yet. But what makes incidents like this so potentially dangerous is the lack of communication channels between the US and China. They simply don't have the military hotlines to handle something like this. Hotlines that helped the planet to survive the Cold War. The two sides had been talking about addressing that, and the trip by the US Secretary of State to Beijing that just got cancelled, well, that was meant to be part of the process. Now the challenge is to get that process back up on its feet again. If they fail, then next time it could be much worse.